Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome to the documentary of Tom Robinson. Enjoy. Chifferone!
This is the courts of the Eagles versus Tom Robinson. Tom, please come up and take your oath. And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Do you?
I do.
That'll do.
Were you acquainted with Mayo by Google?
Yes, sir. And passengers going to and from the field every day.
Whose field?
I pick for Mr. Link Davis.
Were you picking cotton in November?
No, sir. I work in his yard fall and winter time. It was pretty steady for him all year round. He's got a lot of cattle trees and things.
You say you have to pass the Yule place to get to and from work. Is there any other way to go?
No, sir. None that I know of.
Tom, did she ever speak to you?
Why, yes, sir. I tip my hat when I go by and she'd ask me to come inside the fence and bust up a shiffer rope for her.
In my eyes, Tom Robinson is a hero because he stood up for the truth and he didn't conform to what the other people said.
Tom Robinson shows courage because he helps Mayella out. He knows she has no friends, he knows she has a bad situation, a bad home life, and he's willing to do these very small things just to try to give her some joy in life.
Robinson shows so much courage in his situation. He was sort of the scapegoat for the Yules, and by facing the Yules in his testimony, that just showed a tremendous amount of courage, and just a timeless courage, because not a lot of people have that sort of courage to face their fears. Now his was in regards to fighting for his life, but it just goes to show that he was willing to do anything because it was truthful, and that in itself is a courageous act.
Shows courage because he spoke the truth, and no matter the situation, he stuck to the truth, even though that it was kind of a lost trial, and that there was no way that he was going to win. He still stuck to the truth. So that definitely is a reflection of his courage.
I think Tom Robinson shows courage in To Kill a Mockingbird simply just by being nice to a white woman, Miss Mayella Ewell, because it's against the social norms of the time. And Atticus in the story he says kill all the blue jays you want, but never remember it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Well, I think Tom Robinson is a man who wouldn't even kill the blue jays. He's just a very nice man who was nice to a white woman in a time where that was just obscene. He was also very courageous in the courtroom when he said he told the truth. He didn't tell them what they wanted to hear, even though he knew he was fighting a losing battle.
Tom shows tremendous courage both in and out of the courtroom. He was nice to a white woman, which was unheard of in those days, and he did everything to protect her from the court. When he was asked if she was lying, he said that she was just mistaken. He showed tremendous courage, standing up for what he believed in, and just being kind to everyone, whether or not they disliked him. When did she ask you to chop up the shift rope?
Mr. Finch, it was way last spring. I remember it because it was chopping time and I had my hoe with me. I said I didn't have nothing but this hoe, but she said she had a hatchet. She gave me the hatchet and I broke up the shift rope. She says, I reckon I have to give you a nickel, won't I? And I said, no ma'am, there's no chop. And I went home. That was way last spring, or a year ago.
Did you ever go on the place again?
Yes, sir.
Well, when?
Well, I went lots of times.
Under what circumstances?
Please, sir.
Why did you go inside the fence lots of times?
She called me and said, seemed like every time I passed by yonder, she'd have a little something for me to do. Chocolate, candy, and cocoa water for her. She wanted them red flowers every day.
Were you paid for your services?
No, sir, not after she offered me a nickel the first time. I was glad to do it. Mr. Yule didn't seem to help her none, neither did the children. And I know she didn't have no nickels to spend.
Where were the other children?
They were always around, all over the place. They watched me work, some of them sat in the window.
Well, would Miss Mayella talk to you?
Yes, sure. She talked to me.
Did you ever, at any time, go on the Yule property? Did you ever set foot on the Yule property without an express invitation
No,
from any of
sir.
them?
No, sir, Mr. Finch, I never did. I wouldn't do that.
Tom, what happened to you on the evening of November 21st of last year?
Mr. Finch, I was going home as usual that evening, and we passed the Yule place. Miss Mayella were on a porch like she said she was. It seemed so quiet like, and I didn't quite know why. I was studying while just passing by away, and she says for me to come there and help her. Well, I went inside the fence and I looked around for some kindling to work on. But I didn't see none. And she said, "No, I got something for you in the house." The old doors, office, Indians, and fall coming on pretty fast. I said, "You got a screwdriver, Miss Mayella?" She said, "Sure had." Well, I went up the steps and she motioned me to come inside. And I went in the front room and looked at the door. I said, "Miss Mayella, this door looks all right." I pulled it back forth and those hinges were all right. Then she shut the door in my face. Mr. Finch, I was wondering why it was so quiet like, and I come to me that there was not a child on the place, not one of them. And I said, "Miss Mayella, where are the children?" I say, "Where are the children?" And she says, she was laughing sort of, and she said they all gone to town to get ice cream. And she says, "It took me to stop here to save the nickels, but I done it, they all gone to town."
What did you say then, Tom?
I said something like, "Why, Miss Mayella, that's right, smart of you to treat them." And she said, "You think so?" I don't think she understood what I was thinking. I'm not smart enough to say it like that, and not supposed to treat them.
I understand you, Tom. Go on.
Well, I said I best be going. I'm going to do nothing for her. And she says, "Oh, yes, I could." And I asked her, "What?" And she says, "Just step on that chair yonder and get that box down from the top of the shipper rope."
Not the same shipper rope you busted up.
Nah, sir, another one. Most as tall as the room. So I done what she told me. And I was just reaching, when the next thing I know, she grabbed me around the legs. Grabbed me the legs. Mr. Finch, she scared me so bad, I hopped down to turn the chair over. That was the only thing. Only funny. It stood in that room. Mr. Finch, when I left, I swear, for God.
What happens after you turn the chair over?
Tom,
Tom, you're sworn to tell the whole truth. Will you tell it?
That's the question, Tom. Answer.
Mrs. Finch, I got down off that chair when I turned around, and she sort of jumped on me.
Jumped on you? Violently?
No, sir, she hugged me. She hugged me around the waist.
Then what did she do?
She reached up and she kissed me inside of the face. She said she never kissed a grown man before, and she might as well kiss a nigga. She says that her papa views of her don't count. She says, "Kiss me back, nigga." I said, "Miss Mayella, let me out of here." Tired, and I tried to run, but she got her back to the door, and I had to push her. I didn't want to harm her, Mr. Finch, and I said, "Let me pass," but just when I said, "Mr. Yule yonder, how would you the window?"
What did he say?
Something not fitting to say, not fitting for these folks chilling with you.
What did he say, Tom? You must tell the jury what he said.
He says, "You goddamn whore, I'll kill you."
Then what happened?
Mr. Finch, I was running so fast I didn't know what happened.
Tom, Tom, did you rape Miguel?
I did not, sir.
Did you harm her in any way?
I did not, sir.
Did you resist her advances?
Mr. Finch, I tried. Without being ugly to her. I didn't want to be ugly. I didn't want to push her or nothing.
Tom, go back to Mr. Yu. Did he say anything to you?
Not anything, sir. He might have said something, but I wasn't there.
That'll do. What did you hear? Who was he talking to?
Mr. Finch, you were talking and looking at Miss Mayella.
Then you ran?
I sure did, sir.
Why did you run?
I was scared, sir.
Why were you scared?
Mr. Finch, if you was a nigga like me, you'd be scared too.
Let's see what the experts have to say.
Everybody should look up and try to do what Tom Robinson did, even though it could have bad consequences. And I think that everybody should stand up for what they believe in, just like Tom Robinson did.
Of Tom Robinson is timeless and relates to the world today because he had the courage to do the right thing. And when he was being accused and in court, he still held his head high even though he knew he was fighting a losing battle. And all he ever wanted was to do the right thing, much like all of us should always choose to do the right thing.
There are so many times in our lives that we are faced with situations that we didn't really expect ourselves to be in. And Tom Robinson did not expect to be in the situation that he was, as he was simply helping out somebody. And all of a sudden he ended up in court being accused of rape. So, not saying that everybody has those situations where they're sitting in a courtroom being accused of a crime, but he did, and he handled it with grace. And he shows courage because he handled that situation with more guts than a lot of people would. He knew he was going to lose. Everybody in that courtroom knew he was going to lose, and he got up there and said what he had to say and did it with absolute grace and absolute truth and absolute courage, and that is a timeless characteristic that we all strive for.
I believe his character in the book is timeless because we still have those issues today, whether it be religious discrimination, sexual orientation, sexual identity. There's still that discrimination today, and so even though it's specific to racism set in our past, we still see those issues and that discrimination today.
Well, he showed a lot of integrity, like in the courtroom, which is something that relates to all of us today. We don't always speak our mind exactly when we need to. We are just so, bogged down by peer pressure and everything that we don't always say exactly what's on our mind. He showed a lot of courage. He was nice to someone, even though he knew he didn't need to be. He was just a good man, and I think that's just something that we should all relate to today.
Tom is a timeless figurehead because he stood up for what he believed in. He showed immense integrity in those days, and that's what we strive for now, is to have integrity and stand up for what we believe in, even if it's not always the right thing, like the popular thing to do. We need to stand up for what we believe in.
Mr. Gilmore,
I just want the whole lot of you to know one thing right now. That boy's worked for me for 8 years, and I ain't had a speck of trouble out of him. No, I'm sorry.
shut your mouth, sir. Link D's, if you have anything you want to say, you can say it under oath and at the proper time. But until you get out of this room, you get out of this room right now. Get out of this room, sir. You hear me? I'll be taken if I see you in this case again. Get out.
Robinson, you're pretty good at busting up chivalries and kindling with one hand, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I reckon so.
Strong enough to choke the breath out of a woman and sling her to the floor.
I never do that, sir.
But you are strong enough to.
I reckon so, sir.
Had your eye on her a long time, hadn't you, boy?
No, sir, I never look at her.
Then you were mighty polite to do all that chopping and hollering for her, weren't you, boy?
I was just trying to help her out, sir.
That was mighty generous of you. You had chores to do at home after your regular work, didn't you?
Yes, sir. done them both, sir.
You must have been pretty busy. Why?
Well, what, sir?
Why were you so anxious to do that woman's chores?
Oh, looked like she didn't have nobody to help her. But like I said,
With Mr. Yule and 7 children on the place, boy,
well, I said it looked like they never helped her.
you did all this chopping and work from sheer goodness, boy.
Try to help her, I said.
You're a mighty good fellow, it seems. Did all this for not one penny?
Yes, sir, I felt right sorry for her. She seemed to try more than the rest of us.
You felt sorry for her? You felt sorry for her? Now, you went by the house as usual, last November 21st, and she asked you to come in and bust up the chivalry.
No, sir.
Do you deny that you went by the house?
No, sir, she said she had something for me to do inside the house.
She said she asked you to bust up the chivalry. Is that right?
No, sir, it ain't.
Then you say she's lying, boy?
I don't say she's lying, Mr. Gilmore. I said she's mistaken in her head.
Did Mr. Yule run you off the place, boy?
No, sir, I don't think he did.
Don't think. What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't stay long enough for him to run me off.
You're very candid about this. Why did you run so fast?
I said I was scared, sir.
If you had a clear conscience, why were you so scared?
Like I said before, it wasn't safe for any nigga to be in a fix like that.
But you weren't in a fix. You testified that you were resisting Mrs. Yule. And you were so scared that she hung you down, you ran. A big buck like you?
No, sir, I scared I'd be in court just like I am now.
Scared of arrest? Scared you'd have to face up to what you did?
No, sir, scared I'd have to face up for what I didn't do.
The importance of Tom Robinson in the novel comes from the lesson that Jim and Scout learned through the Tom Robinson trial, and the whole idea that just because the color of his skin, he's not treated equally, but that's not right. And that's one of the major lessons that Atticus tries to teach his children. He tries to teach his children that people are people, no matter what color their skin is.
The general answer to the importance of Tom Robinson in the story would probably be, well, the story wouldn't be what it was without Tom Robinson, and that is true. But Tom is the Mockingbird, and nobody knew what he was going through. He was the innocent individual in the situation, and nobody understood what he was feeling, what he was going through, and he handled that with utmost grace.
Well, without Tom, you don't have a novel. I think he's kind of the center of the story, and you can identify him with his struggles that he had to go through. And if you didn't have him, it wouldn't be a very interesting story.
Tom Robinson is a very, very important character in the book because he's the essential Mockingbird figure. He's being run down by a mob and he had done nothing wrong. Without him, there's just simply no conflict whatsoever. So I mean, without him, we really don't have a story. He gets accused, and Atticus has to stand up for what he believes in, and Scout has to stand up for his father. It's just courage. He's the essential courageous figure in the story.
Tom was a very important character in the book because he was the whole concept of To Kill a Mockingbird. He was the innocent figure which had done no wrong but was being prosecuted and was sent to jail because of it. He also was the reason for all the other conflicts in the book. He was the reason Atticus was being persecuted and why Scout was being persecuted. So without him, there wouldn't be a novel.
My daddy said.
Bust up a chivalry for her.
When did she ask you?
Do you swear to tell the whole truth? Then y'all
Yeah, but be angrier.
I don't like this question.
Community.
What's the importance of Tom in the novel?
Are you serious?
Serious.
Courageous.
Oh, yours. You're not recording, right?
No, not at all.
Take camera.
How was Tom timeless?
We have to think about this one. I'm done. Oh, my tongue.